Thank you to the Sisters in Solidarity from 292. They all wanted to link arms on the way up. I thought that was so perfect. Thank you. And thanks for the introduction, Laura. I don't know where you went. Oh, there you are. And to Sean McGarvey, what an honor to follow Sean from NABTU. You are a true brother, Sean. And I just want to say thank you to him for the vision and the focus that he has brought to NABTU. It is truly remarkable, and including investment in this conference. So Sean, Brent Booker, the Secretary-Treasurer, the General Presidents, who have really made a true investment here. So I just want to say thank you and acknowledge that. You can clap for that. And of course, my sister, Vicki and Erica, I am so honored. I cannot tell you. Vicki and I work a lot together in DC because she has so many hats that she wears and so many impressive titles, whether it's with the Ironworkers or NABTU. I think the title that fits her best is rock star. So thank you for everything you do. And to the Tradeswomen Committee leaders, I know both here in the state and nationally for working your tails off year-round to put together this incredible conference and the programming that happens all year round. So I just want to say thank you again to Jessica, of course, with the State Building Trades, Dan and Jenny, and the Women Building Success here for hosting us in your beautiful city. Good morning, tradeswomen! I am so excited to be with you here in Minneapolis today, and I have been coming to this conference since it was just a California event, which of course was a feat in itself. But since then, I don't need to tell you, this has grown exponentially. It is incredible to watch, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of it because there is something very special and very empowering about being a woman in the trades. It's a sisterhood, unlike any other. And the best part is that we are on the rise and we are making change in this labor movement. And yes, we still have a lot of work ahead of us, but we are getting bigger, we are getting stronger, and there's no denying that. Look around this room. Just take a minute, look around this room. And then we can look around the country. Used to be you'd go on a construction site and only see men wearing hard hats. Not anymore. And in fact, did you know that it's the 100th anniversary of the hard hat? I just saw this, okay? The 100th anniversary of the hard hat, and the New York Times actually did an article on this. And they described it as a symbol of toughness and a ubiquitous emblem of masculinity. Well, I just wrote a letter to the editor of the New York Times saying, men aren't the only one who build our bridges or repair our roads or construct our buildings. And I can say that to the know-it-all New York Times because women in the trades are stepping up and they're leading the way. And I have seen it in all kinds of ways, from record numbers of women apprentices on big jobs, to the success of the women's committees within our unions, to convention actions and policy changes, and on and on. And I had the opportunity to meet Michelle McNew in SMART. She leads their committee, their women's committee. And earlier this summer at their convention in Las Vegas, she and a group of tradeswomen put forward some resolutions at the convention. And they had formed their committee, I think, 3 years or so ago. So this was their first time at the convention really putting something forward. And they drafted resolutions on increasing women's membership and instituting a code of conduct for all local unions, and they won. I was sitting in the back as they passed unanimously and watching everyone and how exciting it was. And it is hard to imagine that happening at a convention 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. And I saw the work that Kyla Engelke of the Plasters and Cement Masons is doing with the new Steel Edge initiative in their union to empower and recruit more women into leadership positions. And this is the kind of new energy and momentum that really makes a difference in our movement, because that is what this is all about. That is why we're here, growing union construction and good jobs. And the way we do that is through recruiting, training, and keeping more women in the trades. That's how we grow our industry. And I love the story of Joanne Hager. She's a member of Laborers 563 right here in Minneapolis. Any laborers in the house? I mean, come on. Joanne's story is a little unconventional. She went into the trades at the age of 47. She had been working a job that paid $10.15 an hour. And after joining our movement, today she makes $35 an hour. That's right. And she says that her entire life changed by joining her union. Before, she was thinking about her future, and she knew that she'd be scraping by basically on Social Security. Today, she has a union pension, and she can look forward to retiring with dignity. And that's not all. Joanne says that she became active in her union from day one because she says, and I quote, "It's always been about making my union and my sisters better. Because if we want to change the industry, we have to step up and lead ourselves. And if we want to change the culture and make sure everyone's respected, we have to step up and lead ourselves." How about Joanne? That's inspiring. And I think her story is a fierce reminder of why we joined a union in the first place, why we organize, why we mobilize and fight every single day together. And I don't need to tell you how difficult it is out there right now. Paychecks aren't going as far as they used to. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing, eating up gains at the bargaining table. The growth in technology is causing fears about the future and what work is going to look like, and if jobs are going to be lost to automation. CEO pay is skyrocketing. I think it's 267 times the average worker. Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, makes in 9 seconds what the average worker at Amazon makes in a year. It's unbelievable. It's insane. Not to mention the challenges for tradeswomen on the job, especially women of color. Now, we already heard, I think Vicki said, everyone raised their hand who was the only woman on the job in some instances, and I heard pretty much everyone stand up. So what about how many of you have ever shown up on a job and done a routine task and had a male coworker remark in surprise, like, "You can do that"? Anybody? Okay, a few hands. How many of you have been called aggressive or pushy for simply asking questions or pointing out basic information? All right. Clearly, you're not alone. And sometimes it seems a little overwhelming, doesn't it? I can't tell you how many people I've talked to just in the last 24 hours, right, who are facing struggles. But it's easy to feel defeated. It's easy to want to wallow. But that's not what we do in this room. It's not what we do as women in this industry. What do? We fix it. We find solutions. We get to work. We get things done together. All of you, sisters, tradeswomen, and proud union members supporting each other. And what an opportunity we have to lift each other up, because activism is happening all around us. This moment in our labor movement and in our country, where working people are taking risks and rising up collectively more than ever before. Are you seeing what's happening around us? What's happening across the country right now is incredible. Teachers walking out and demanding better for themselves and their students. Grocery workers in New England at Stop and Shop who went on strike. And the customers and the community stood with them. And they brought that company to its knees in 11 days. What about Unite Here members who went on strike at Marriott across the country? Remember that last year in Seattle? Y'all were walking the picket line, and you helped those workers win better wages and save their health care, and also bargain sexual harassment policies in their contract so that housekeepers now have panic buttons as part of their safety equipment when they encounter guests in hotels who are harassing them. Their union did that. And what about UAW members on strike right now? I was just on the picket line in Detroit, and I was walking that line with all community coming together, UAW members. The big fight is over temporary status for some of their workforce and how they want to bring every worker up to being a worker. A worker is a worker. And I was walking the line with single moms who were trying to figure out how to make it through this strike, but they were standing up because they knew the importance of this fight and winning the dignity and the respect and the security that they deserve after years of record-breaking profits at General Motors, right? We have their back. We have their back. Workers are rising up, and every single member of the building trades and every single member across our movement who stood up and fought against IRAPs, Sean mentioned it this summer, over 300,000 comments. What an incredible showing of solidarity that was. And that was a blatant attack on our unions, and it's a fight that we are going to win. But the spirit of worker power isn't coming just from union members. What about the courageous women in the Me Too movement? What about tech workers at Google and Microsoft who walked out for fairness and respect and to protest workplace sexual harassment policies and actually protesting corporate behavior? They were standing up against the artificial intelligence ethics violations. Who knew that workers could be walking out to influence corporate behavior and an artificial intelligence, right? Amazon workers right here in Minnesota actually walked out on Prime Day. Did you see that? For better pay and respect on the job. And I've been doing some work with video game developers. A lot of people are like, why are you talking about video game developers? Anybody in here play video games? Well, you might be embarrassed to raise your hand. Maybe your kids do, grandkids. The video games industry is 3 times the size of Hollywood. They're making money hand over fist, but the workers who develop the games are working 14 to 16-hour days without breaks to deliver a game, abused and having no rights. They need a worker or a union too, right? All of these workers in these emerging industries need a union, and it might look a little different from what we're used to, but collective bargaining should be the standard in every single industry. That's right. And if we're gonna have a shot at organizing unions in the growth areas of the economy where there are no unions, we need to show our relevance. We need to show to young people what a union means, try new strategies, take some risks, and that spirit of risk-taking, which we need more of, makes me think of the iron workers and the maternity leave policy. And I know General President Dean is in the room. They took a risk because they knew that creating this benefit would make their union more attractive to women members. And so they experimented and said, you know what? We won't find out if it's something people really want until we try it. And it's creating a ripple effect throughout the trades. Because again, the more flexible and family-friendly policies we put in place, the more women will want to join us, and the bigger and stronger and more diverse our movement will be. That's right. And I like to brag anywhere I go about the fact that the labor movement is the largest organization of working women in the country. In the country. In this labor movement, we have 6.5 million women. But the question is, how do we use that power to transform our industry and our unions? The power in this room. I think it is all about leadership. And everyone in this room is a leader. And leadership takes many forms, many styles. It doesn't always mean being at the front of the room or chairing the meeting. It can be simply speaking up at a union meeting and raising an issue that's important to you. Give a report at your local union meeting about what you learned at this conference. Or lift up the work of someone else. The sister who is doing amazing work with little fanfare and not tooting her own horn. You can do that. The point is, we need to talk about the good work that you're doing so more people know about it and you can build momentum. And we also need more women to run for office, whether it's in your union or public office in your community. And don't say, who, me? Yes, you. I'm talking about you. Research shows that it takes on average 7 times for a woman to be asked to run before, or 7 times to be asked before she'll run for office. 7 times. It's crazy. We always think, oh, I don't have enough experience, even though you've worked for 20 years in the field. Or, oh, I don't know, that's maybe not for me, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough. I did it too when I ran for Secretary Treasurer. Took me 4 times, but not 7. And no offense to the guys in the room, but on average it takes 1 time for you to be asked, and the men will step up, even if they're not ready sometimes. So the moral of that story is hone your skills, build your network, believe in yourself. Know that you have this incredible sisterhood behind you as you step into your full potential as a leader. So let's go home from this conference, educate, mobilize, and organize like never before. And with tradeswomen leading the way, we will. We are the women of the American labor movement. We are strong, we are powerful, we are united, and nothing will stop us. Thank you, sisters. Have a great conference.